In the last 5 weeks alone, I've signed over $24,000 worth of brand new one-to-one clients while traveling Europe, while being away in Poland for a week and a half, a long weekend in Germany. I've been traveling a lot over the last month, and still through all of that, it's been $24,000 of sales of new one-to-one clients. And today I'm going to break down how I managed to sign that many clients in that short succession, and also do that while I'm traveling for half the time as well. So I'm going to be walking you through what was my strategy, what did I actually do to sign those clients, what worked really well, so you can take notes and you can bring this into your business, whether you're looking to sign any type of client or more specifically one-to-one clients for yourself. And also I'm going to show you how you can do this no matter how full your schedule is, no matter how busy you are, no matter how much you have on your plate. I flew 4 times during these 5 weeks, but I still signed all of these new one-to-one clients. And I'm going to share with you how I did that in a really, really simple way. Okay, so first let's talk about what was different here that you might not expect. So over these 5 weeks, I signed 3 brand new one-to-one clients. These are people who have never ever worked with me before in the one-to-one program, never worked with me there before, so they were brand new there. Did I do a launch? No, there was no launch or anything like that. There was no closing date. There was none of that type of content, anything that I put out there. There was no masterclass. There was no event or anything like that, which I held. It was actually really simple. I was posting the same amount of content as I usually do. I was, posting with no, as I said, closing date of any launch or anything like that. All I had done was I announced that I had opened those 3 spaces, and then I used some very specific strategies to make sure I actually filled those 3 spaces. And again, this happened while I was traveling a lot this month as well, which is A, super fun, of course, and B, I wanted to share that because that context really just helps to show that it does not need to be this really difficult, hard, planned out thing to actually sign one-to-one clients. You don't need a launch, you don't need a masterclass, you don't need this big deal, this big event. You can just post your regular content with a specific strategy and doing a few specific things, which I'm going to walk you through today and show exactly what I did there and what worked really well. But it can be really simple. It can be really easy for you to get this big result. And I'm going to share with you exactly how to do that in today's video. So there are 3 really specific things which I did during these 5 weeks, which I'm going to share with you today. And these 3 things are the biggest game changers. These are the things which made the huge difference. These are the things which got me those clients. So take notes. Keep in mind these 3 when you are next looking to sign any clients and just have a push towards getting more clients without doing any big event, big launch, anything like that. It can really be simple. And these are the 3 things which allow me to keep it so simple. So number 1 is actually selling my one-to-one every single day. And you're probably rolling your eyes at this one thinking, oh yeah, I know. But actually doing it is such a game changer. And I'm going to share with you a few examples of why, of just really practically how this led to those clients. But really we can just see why this works. Of actually, especially for something that's high ticket, especially something that's a little bit more of an investment for people, seeing you talk about it every single day is what makes people interested, is what makes people first even aware. Because I know so many people who, you probably have a one-to-one program, but are people even aware of this program? If you just talk about it maybe once a week, maybe drop in every so often, it's hidden at the bottom of a caption somewhere, hidden at the bottom of an email, are people even aware that you have this program? That is the first thing to be asking, because if they're not even aware, no matter how much they're your ideal client, no matter how much they would be a really good fit and would be really attracted to this program, they're not going to sign up because they don't actually know it exists. So you actually building that awareness and making sure that everyone in your space, everyone who's receiving your emails, who is seeing your content, is aware that you have this program. That alone is such a big step, because then they can start thinking about, am I an ideal client for this? Is this going to be a good fit? Is this going to be something which helps me with my 2025 goals? They can't actually start thinking about that until they know that this program exists. So you talking about it every single day with the same messaging as well. This doesn't need to be I have to say something drastically different every single day, and it needs to be this really big, really planned out email and perfectly written or everything like that. Just talking about it every single day, just putting that messaging out there is so powerful for building that awareness, so people actually know what the heck you're even selling. People even know how you help people, what you do, why they might even want to consider working with you, but they can't do that unless they've actually seen you talk about your offer. So just talking about it every single day and setting yourself that goal of, okay, if I want to get more clients over the next month, what about if every single day, without fail, for 30 days, I spoke about my offer somewhere? Very directly. It could be in a post, it could be Instagram stories, it could be an email I'm sending to my list, it could be on a video I'm doing, anything, but just talking really specifically about your offer. I have been talking about my one-to-one offer for, I can't even tell you how many days in a row, but a very long time, and I've built so much awareness and everyone knows me for that offer just because I talk about it a lot. I just share about it a lot, and it's built that awareness, and then it means that people who are my ideal client are very much able to come forward. And also it means that when I do open spaces in the future, I know that when I open a space, actually people do reach out. I know that's going to happen because I've built this awareness around it. So not only is it helping you over this next month, it's setting you up sustainably for the future as well with your offer, because your audience knows what you're actually selling and they've seen you talk about this for months or even years. Now as well, talking about your one-to-one offer every single day makes it easier for you to talk about your offer. I see this so much with potential clients and with just people I speak with. Actually, it feels really difficult to talk about your offer because it feels like such a big deal. It feels like if I'm showing up to talk about my offer, I need to do the perfect wording. It needs to be really planned out. I need to, spend an hour thinking about what do I want to say when I'm speaking about my offer. But actually, if you speak about it every single day, it becomes less of a big deal, right? The same way that if you were to say, okay, I'm gonna go to the gym every single day for the next month, if one workout wasn't as good, it wouldn't matter. It's literally fine because you're going again the next day. The same way as if you're talking about your offer every single day, if one day you don't use the, most perfect wording, you're not as happy with what you said, you feel like you could have said it better, it literally doesn't matter because we're speaking about it again tomorrow and again the day after. This is actually one of the ways that you can make it easy for you to sell your offers and make it easy to promote your offers, because the more you talk about it, the more you share about this, the easier it becomes every single time. Instead of taking you an hour to write that email, it's going to take you 10-15 minutes instead, because you've said the wording so many times over, you know the messaging really well, and also it just doesn't feel like that big of a deal when you're talking about it every single day if you don't use the most perfect wording one specific time, because you've got tomorrow and you've got the day after, and it literally doesn't matter because it's one small drop in the puddle versus it being the one of the 2 times this month that you are going to be speaking about it, so it's a really big deal. So that's the first habit, is actually building up that consistency of selling daily. And I want to share with you an example of where this worked for actually signing me one of those clients. So one of those clients, she reached out to me maybe about a month before we actually signed the contract and started working together, and she basically had just said in that message that, yeah, I'm really curious about working with you. I know it's not a right now thing for me, but one day I'm really curious. You're kind of grabbing my attention when you're talking about this offer. And I just said at the time, okay, great, would love to work with you one day when that's the right fit. And I continued talking about my offer every single day after that. So then she literally, I think it was maybe a week or 2 after, reached out to me and said, okay, let's schedule a discovery call. I want to talk to you about working together. So we scheduled the call, and then she signed up straight away. And this would not have happened if I hadn't have talked about my offer every single day, because it was through me talking about it that it got her from, okay, I'm kind of curious, kind of thinking about it, to thinking about it even more, and realizing this was the perfect fit for her. But that wouldn't have happened if I hadn't been speaking about it so much. So actually, with that, there are people in your audience right now who are thinking about working with you, even if they're just slightly curious. There's that slight little bit of curiosity, and the only way you're going to build that, and the only way you're going to get them to actually that place of, yes, this is exactly what I need, is by talking about the offer. And actually, the more we talk about it, the more we just accelerate that process. Because if I had only been speaking about my offer once a week, that client may have, reached out to me 6 months later and said, yeah, I'm wanting to work with you now. Or she may have just decided to work with someone else at the end of the day. But actually, because I'd been talking about it so much and she'd been seeing it over and over and over and thinking about it over and over, then that led to her reaching out literally like 2 weeks later after saying, yeah, it's going to not be a right now thing, to actually saying, okay, it's a right now thing for me. And that is just the power of showing up and selling daily. So that is the first habit there, of actually building the habit of showing up and selling daily, that very tangibly led to me signing those 3 clients. The second thing I did to sign these $24,000 of one-to-one clients over 5 weeks is doubling down on what works. So I talk about this concept a lot on my channel. I talk about this a lot through videos, but this is so powerful of actually figuring out what works for you when it comes to signing clients, i.e. in the past, for every client that you've signed, what has been the reason they've signed up? What was it that got them off the fence and got them actually deciding to work with you? And where did they come from as well? And then doubling down on those things. So if you can see clients always come from my Instagram, for example, okay, great. That's where we want to be spending time, right? If you can see that they always come and work with me because they love my results and they always talk about my client results, how about we share more of those client results and actually start posting more of those? For example, with me, I use this very, very tangibly because I can see that I always get the same response when I ask clients why they decided to work with me in particular. And this is a great question to ask if you haven't already. Reach back out to those past clients, reach out to your current clients and just ask them, hey, I'm just doing a little questionnaire. Just want to know, why did you decide to work with me in particular? What was it that made you decide to work with me? And I can see for me, the answer that I always get is, number one, the client testimonials and client results. They love seeing me breaking down client results. And then secondly, the connection that I've really created with that person. They feel like I really care. They feel like I really got to know them. And we just had a great conversation when we have spoken before we've actually discussed working together. So I know from there that, okay, I should spend more time in those two areas in particular. So for me, that looked like, at the start of April, I started doing a kind of mini series, I guess, where I was on my Instagram and my email list once a week doing a client case study. Before this, I would do a client case study every so often. It would maybe be once or twice a month, but I decided, okay, I'm going to do them every single week. And also, I have a load of video testimonials, so I was going to post a video testimonial on my Instagram every single week as well. So every week you were seeing, in terms of client results, obviously the usual, all the screenshots and stories and all that fun thing, but also you were seeing a full client case study every single week of, here's the client result, here's exactly how we did that. I was also doing those on YouTube as well, which I have kept up because I just love them. So you can see, again, a ton of client case study videos on YouTube as well, just breaking down, here's the result and here's how we actually did that thing. And then also I was doing the video testimonials as well. So again, you get to literally hear from my clients and hear about their experience working with me as well. So that was really ticking that box in terms of those client results. And again, surprise, surprise, I could see from those 3 clients who signed on that actually this was one of the big reasons why they decided to work with me, was seeing those client results in particular and those client testimonials. So I was really just utilizing what I know works for me and my business and what has signed me clients in the past there. And then in terms of that connection side as well, I was actually making time each day just to engage with my audience and just to have conversations with people and just to, just engage with people who were already watching my stories, already liking my posts, etc. Just time to just go and connect with those people. Again, not from a business perspective or trying to get any leads, but just engaging and just having human conversations and responding to their stories and having fun, voice message back and forth conversations. And that was so helpful because 2 of those 3 people were ones I had been very actively doing that with and just building that connection. And they said again that really contributed towards deciding to work with me, was the fact that they just had a lot of conversations, just really liked my energy, and we just really connected essentially. Plus obviously seeing those client results led to the perfect combination there essentially. And also with the connection side as well, I had decided that I was going to do a weekly series on my, again, Instagram feed and my email list as well, called Freedom Files, where I was essentially just sharing a story on my journey of building my business. But again, they're very personal, connection focused stories. So all of these things combined, they really help me to build a lot of trust, build a lot of authority, and just build connection with my audience as well, which I know really worked. So the key here is really figuring out, where have your clients come from and what made them sign up towards working with you, and doing more of those things very actively, really leaning into doing those things. If you can see it's the client results, what if we post a client results once, twice a week on multiple different platforms? What would that look like for you? And just lean into those things which you know work, because if they've been proven to work for you previously, they're going to work with you more. And really all we're doing when we're looking to sign, multiple clients in a really short span of time is we're not looking to suddenly do something new because you have signed clients before. We're just looking to accelerate how quickly these things happen essentially and just collapse time there. And a great way to do that is saying, okay, let's accelerate those actions that get me that result. So if I know that me posting client results and me posting client testimonials gets me clients. Okay, great, let's do more of that. Let's accelerate that, because that's naturally going to accelerate how quickly that result is coming in then. So that is the second piece there. And then the third piece, which really led to me signing $24,000 of one-to-one clients in 5 weeks, was doing some lead generation specific activities right before this sales spike actually happened. I think this hugely contributed to the timing of why it happened at that specific point. And that was me doing some lead generation activities. So this was me putting out a few really intentional freebies that I knew would be absolutely irresistible for my ideal client and were really, really simple, really easy for me to create, but just essentially to show me, okay, firstly, when I was thinking of engaging, who do I want to be engaging with, i.e. who is a lead, who is a potential client, and I can see this through who has wanted that freebie. And also just to get people warmed up a little bit towards the idea of working with me, because I knew I was going to be very aggressively talking about my one-to-one program and showing client results and all those things. So actually dropping those freebies at the moment I did right before I was planning to do all of this, and kind of at the start and during as well, continuing to drop the same ones over and over, actually was so helpful for me just getting some leads for that and actually seeing who could potentially be interested and just warming those people up as well. This can be such an effective way to just see who is actually interested, and also just to warm them up so much quicker than just content would have done, because obviously content, we're dependent on what are they going to happen to see. They're not going to see all of our content necessarily. It's a much slower way of kind of nurturing people. So actually putting out an intentional freebie, which is really a no-brainer for your audience, is such a game changer for making sure that actually they will know what you do. They're really nurtured. They know you're the expert straight away. And actually when you're then talking about this program and actually every day showing up and selling this, which I hope you're doing from tip 1 there, but when you're showing up every single day and talking about this offer, they are then actually already seeing you as the expert because they've already got this really, really helpful free resource from you. And it's just going to help nurture them so much quicker. So for example, with me, one of the ones which I put out, which was super successful, was 5 strategies I used to sign $69,000 of one-to-one coaching clients last year in 2024. So that was one of the resources, was essentially just, okay, what were the 5 strategies I used? If you want that as well, definitely go over to my Instagram. The link is in the description, and just DM me the word funnels and I will send that over to you there. No opt-in required at all for that. But with that freebie, that was just so helpful for, again, just positioning me as the expert for signing clients and helping you to grow your business in a really simple way, because it was literally 5 strategies. That was all I utilized for the whole year. So yeah, it was just really helpful for positioning me as the expert in my specific area, and just showing my clients, potential clients, a little bit of a taste of kind of what it's like working with me and what it could be like for their business. This literally got me about 40 people signing up from there. So again, that was really helpful to see who was actually watching, who was paying attention, who would be a potential ideal client for my one-to-one when I then came to speak about it literally a few weeks later. So with this third step, have a think on what would be a really easy and simple for you and no-brainer for your ideal clients freebie that you could put out to really just show you who are these leads, who are these potential clients there, and also to just help nurture them so much quicker as well. And this is another one of those moments as well where you can see how everything is just compounding, because I guarantee that, you know, some of those people on that list who haven't yet purchased from me, haven't yet decided to work with me, they're going to be my future clients. They're going to be people who are signing up in 6 months' time, in a year's time, but they were really nurtured by getting that freebie towards working with me, whether that is right now or whether that is in a year's time. So everything that you are doing is compounding. And really, again, in this period with these 3 specific strategies, we're just accelerating how quickly these things are happening. But also, regardless of what happens during that period, regardless of what happened during these 5 weeks for me, I know that I'm also really building the cards and stacking things in my favor for the next 6 months, year, etc., just because of these actions. They're never going to be a negative. They're always going to be a positive and push you towards signing clients. So those are the 3 strategies I used to sign $24,000 of one-to-one coaching clients in literally just 5 weeks while I was traveling as well, and keeping it super simple. So big takeaways there is consistency above everything else when talking about your offers. Just you talking about it every single day is perfect. We don't need perfection in terms of the wording, what you're talking about. Just talk about it every single day and watch absolute wonders happen. Second point is your data is really your secret advantage. Actually looking back over what has signed you clients, what has worked for you, and doing more of that will never not work in your business. And also big months really come from simple focused actions. We don't need a big launch. We don't need this big masterclass event. We can just have these really simple actions and get really, really big results from those. So if this is the kind of result you are looking to create for your business in 2025, of having this really big sales period where you can sign loads of clients in a really, really simple way without any big launch, just working on a strategy that feels so simple for you, gives you a lot of freedom in your business and your life, but gets results, better results than you've ever had previously, because we're just being more effective when we're being more strategic. If that is what you are looking for in 2025, I would love to invite you to work with me. I will link below in the description the application form for a discovery call with me, so you can schedule a free discovery call. On that call, we will chat through what it could look like to work together, how I could potentially help you, whether we would be a good fit, and all of the above. So if you're wanting to chat with me about one-to-one coaching and what that could look like, schedule a discovery call at the link below. I will also put in the cards here video for you to watch next, which is a case study of one of my one-to-one clients where we added $3,000 to her monthly revenue in just 6 weeks. Again, really simple strategy, didn't involve a launch, and actually allowed her to get really big results in a really short period of time. So click here and watch this video next. That is going to be an absolute game changer in terms of you actually getting big results in a short period of time. Again, thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure you give it a like if you want more breakdowns like this, and I will see you in the next one.